Are you tired of games of the year and 100-unit locks? If so, check out the professional handicappers at WagerTalk.com today. We leave all that nonsense for the other guys. And for a limited time, new users get their first daily picks purchase up to $40 for only $1. $1? Whose idea was that? Johnny Detroit? I guess so. To redeem this special, just go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper and their picks package using coupon code TRYWagerTalk when checking out.
All right, guys, welcome in. Happy Monday. Welcome to the first week of May 2021. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. It's time for another edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show powered by WagerTalk.com. We are in the home stretch here, guys. We got 2 weeks left in the season here for the NBA before we start talking about 7 playing 8, 8 playing 9, 9 playing 10. Who's playing what? I don't know. Who cares? We still have 14 games before that, which is why we are going to cover 4 of the games here today on the schedule. And there are some good ones, including Portland taking on Atlanta. We're also going to talk about the Denver Nuggets taking on the G League squad, the Lakers. We got the Knicks taking on Memphis. And, of course, the Indiana Pacers, Washington Wizards, and I'll give you guys 3 guesses as to what category that game falls into. But we are going to break these games down, of course, with 3 of the absolute finest, the smartest, the most profitable at Wager Talk when it comes to breaking down the association. Ski Profit in the house, as is. Stevie in the middle, Merrill, and, of course, Rob Vino hitting cleanup here today. So, Ski, won't bust your balls about the Lakers too much. We'll get there. But how was your weekend, man? I saw you were cashing tickets at the track. It looked like it was a pretty profitable weekend for you, my friend. And what do you got at Wager Talk today for $9 Monday?
I haven't made a play official, but I'm looking at a couple in MLB and probably 1 or 2 today in NBA. And the weekend, as far as the track stuff, I had fun. I had a lot of friends out here for the Kentucky Derby. I attacked some of those other tracks. So back on the ponies. Looking forward to keeping that going.
Yeah, absolutely. Still got Preakness and Belmont coming up there for sure. All righty, in the middle, Merrill. Talk to me, my man. How was your weekend? And it is $9 Monday at Wager Talk. So what do you got cooking for us there?
Yes, $9 Monday, and as Rob Vino knows with his calculator, $9 Monday is never good enough for me, so it's $4.50 Monday because I've got a 2-for-1 special with MLB and NBA action, and Rob did confirm that's $4.50 per play at WagerTalk.com. Quickly, though, I want to bring up last night, 2 plays yesterday went 1-1, but it was a textbook example of the NBA regular season for me and pretty much everyone else. One game I gave out beat closing line value by 3 points. The other game I gave out lost to the closing line by 4 points, and I went 1-1, but not how you would have thought. Spurs +6 goes to +10 because they did everybody despite being in the play-in situation, and they still pretty much easily cover in overtime, lose by 2. I have the Lakers. I put them out at -7.5. I thought LeBron would play. He did. It goes to 10.5, and they lose outright. It just is a textbook example of how the NBA regular season has played out, and another reason why I'm happy to say we're less than 2 weeks away, guys, from it ending and the playoffs beginning. I think it'll be a lot more normal with the postseason once we get there. But, yeah, crazy Sunday. I beat one game by 3 and lose the other one closing line by 4 and win it. It's just kind of how it's gone all year. These teams continue to overachieve when they're shorthanded. It's amazing.
It's an interesting time of year, Rob Vino, in the association. You've got the teams who aren't tanking but are tanking. Motivation is an absolute killer to figure out here. But how was your weekend, man? What do you got going on at Wager Talk on $9 Monday for $4 and whatever the hell he said there? What's going on, man?
I have to talk to the people in charge here because I never get the Steve Merrill specials on my stuff. I have to have a conversation with somebody, maybe undercut Steve and go to $4.49 per pick so I can get more sales.
Make a 3-pack.
Yeah, it's time. It's probably time to blow smoke up my ass for 10 seconds, right, Joe? 4-0 in the NBA yesterday. Good day. A little bit of a bounce back for sure, because Saturday wasn't perfect. But again, still year to date, #1 NBA at WagerTalk, 2020 overall NBA season #1 at WagerTalk. So it remains good, Joe, and we like to keep it that way for the remainder of the season into the playoffs.
Absolutely here, guys. No reason why you can't make it a profitable Monday here, $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All you have to do is head on over. Go to WagerTalk.com, visit Ski's page, visit Steve Merrill's page, and, of course, visit Rob Vino's page here. Best bets, $9 here today at WagerTalk.com. All right, let's dive into our contrarian game of the day, of course, coming off of a 5-0 week last week here, guys. Pretty impressive here. Fading the public as best we can. And the contrarian game of the day here today, we're going to take a look at this Portland-Atlanta game, 8 p.m. Eastern time tip here, guys, where, listen, the Blazers have been just destroying people, right? 6-game road trip. They're starting off 4-0. I think they've, 4 in a row by a combined point differential of 71, guys. They are running people over because pretty much they know they have to. But yet, the public all over Portland, tickets, money, and yet we've seen this line go from opening up as a 1.5 to 2.5. So it's actually moving towards Atlanta, which of course means that, well, if the public is on Portland and the line is moving towards Atlanta, somebody likes them, Ski. So Atlanta would certainly be the contrarian side based upon who the public is in love with right now. Do you agree with that move? And I don't know, Atlanta as a home favorite, you like them in this spot?
I understand the move. I felt like, just because Norman Powell got added to the injury report, right? And then as soon as he's on there for game time decision, it goes up to 2.5. So I still think it's not the best spot for Portland. I feel like they've been playing almost every single day, but they've been playing good, covering, winning. Atlanta, they've been a team that's really good at home. Both teams, I feel like, are not good versus competition. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top. I would probably disagree today. I've been riding with the contrarian play for a few days, but I think I'm going to hop off today and outside with the Blazers in this one.
All right, he's going to side with the Blazers there. And as you can see, the list there, Norman Powell questionable there, Steve Merrill, the usual, Bogdanovich possible or probable, rather, for Atlanta here tonight. They have been pretty good as a home favorite, covering just over 72%, also close to 78% straight up this season. So Atlanta's been a good bet at home as a favorite. Do you like them in this spot?
Yeah, this is what we call, at least what I call, a sharp square divide. The tickets, the public consensus is on the dog here in Portland, as you said. Not a surprise, Joe, because like you also said, they're hot offensively. But it does look like these sharps, the professionals, the ones with the long-term edge, are on the Hawks here, because despite more tickets coming on Atlanta, more heavy money is coming on Atlanta. So I agree with the contrarian call here. I'm on Atlanta, the sharp side in this game. So we're going to say Portland is the contrarian play going against them because they're public. And I have no problem backing a team that is above 500 the season. 19-11 at home is a small favorite. And, I'm looking for Portland to regress here off those 4 big road wins. They do have another road game on deck still. But it's hard to have your A game each and every night. And those have been competitive games. Memphis, they're a 2-point dog. Slight favorite at Brooklyn with the short-handed lineup. Slight favorite at Boston. It's not like they're just rolling over bottom feeders. I think at some point you come back to earth. You can't have your A game every night. And with the no rest situation on top of that, this looks like a good setup for me for Atlanta. And I like it even more, the fact that the contrarian public is on the dog here in Portland, yet the sharp money agrees with me with the Hawks.
Yeah, it's a brutal schedule. You're talking about a back-to-back here, Rob Vino. Boston to Atlanta now. Atlanta, what is it, 6 games in 9 days for the Hawks? There's a lot of games being played by both these teams. Atlanta does have a day rest, though. I don't know if that factors into the handicapping. Do you like the home favorite, or do you agree with the public in this instance?
Yeah, I think you could make cases for both sides. Joe and Ski and Steve both brought out some pretty good points here. I think in the case of Atlanta, why you would like them, they're getting healthy real fast. The only 2 guys left on that injury report for Atlanta are DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish. You've got Trae Young back for the 3rd consecutive game now. You've got Clint Capella back for the 3rd consecutive game. Kevin Huerter back in the lineup. Bogdanovich back in the lineup. He played last game. Those are 4 key members that have spent the better part of the last 2.5 weeks at any given point in time on the injured list. So Atlanta's been a little bit sporadic. They haven't been good against the spread. We talk about needing time together to be cohesive when we talk about Brooklyn and when we talk about the Lakers. And that could be the case for Atlanta here. Maybe these guys need an extra game or 2, but they could break out here tonight now that Trae Young's been back for 3 games and Capella's been back for 3 games. We'll have to see. I think in the case of Portland, yes, the schedule's been murderous. Yes, they've proven to themselves finally that they can beat good basketball teams. It had been a long, long time where Damian Lillard went off and, said that they couldn't beat good teams or they just weren't getting it done. They've gotten it done on this trip. Now, 4-0, I think they press to get this one. Whether or not they can is another story. But if they get to 5-0 on this trip, once you get to 4-0, you want to make that trip perfect. And so I think Portland will have every bit of motivation here. It's a question of whether they have the energy. They go to an 8-man rotation last night. If they get this, there's a day off tomorrow, and the 6th and final road game is at Cleveland, which should finish off a 6-0 trip if they can get this. I'm not so sure that they can, Joe. Whoever brought up the point about Portland playing hard minutes on this road trip, I kind of agree with that. I don't want to bet against them. Don't really want to be on them either. But if I had to make a play, I think I would take Atlanta here at home with their guys back, catching Portland in this back-to-back. So give me the Atlanta side slightly.
Yeah. Well, Trae Young, too, since coming back over the last 2 games, dropping 65 points, man. Looks like he's getting back into shape. So that is the contrarian game, guys. Atlanta will be our play here as they take on Portland. The dog here on the road. Public loves themselves some Portland Trailblazers. We're not so sure they get the job done, though. We're going to take a look at our first featured game as well here tonight. And what can be said about the Lakers that hasn't already been said here, as the Nuggets and the Lakers will get ready to do battle. And the Lakers now, this was interesting. We know now, I think LeBron has been ruled out. Anthony Davis is listed as probable. And, of course, the line went from 2 in favor of Denver to now I'm seeing 5s pretty much across the board here, with a total hovering around opening up at 218.5. Now I'm seeing guys 213s in a lot of places here. So, Steve, I'll come to you first here. Not good. It's like they're trying to figure out how to play again here. They lost last night to Toronto in the Staples Center. Playing again here tonight in the Staples Center, welcoming in one of the hottest teams in the West, the Denver Nuggets. Your thoughts on the Lakers' chances of getting it done here at home as a dog?
Yeah, right before I came on today, I did a quick hit with our friend John Ryan on his channel. And, of course, John's at sportsmemo.com. He sends over the angle of the day. And he wanted me to ask Ski personally, when we talked about this game today, he said Ski is quoted as saying that he does not like to play on bad teams. So can he play on the Lakers going forward? John asked that. Don't shoot the messenger. That was John, not myself. And he wants to know if Ski can play on bad teams like the Lakers right now.
Wow.
The other thing I asked John to send over, and he just sent it to me in our notes, is I wanted to find out when a team is off back-to-back straight-up losses as a double-digit favorite, 2 straight games, and now as a dog. I mean, you talk about a role reversal, how that airs out. It hasn't happened often, as you would guess, especially as a double-digit home favorite twice and now a home dog. John said it's pretty much 50-50, really no angles one way or the other on that. But I thought that was something interesting to look into, because isn't it crazy to lose as an 11 and 10-point favorite and now find yourself as a 5-point home dog? Of course, a lot of that has to do with LeBron being in and out of the lineup. As you said, Joe, he's ruled out. I'm seeing Davis as probable. I mean, I guess they play him. I'm not sure what they have to prove here against Denver. I kind of like the Nuggets here without LeBron. Even with LeBron, I kind of like the Nuggets here. I'm not going to wait for them just to flip a switch. And we talked about it here on Friday's show. I think I mentioned it, when we were talking about him maybe coming back Friday or Sunday. He did come back Friday, of course. That I wouldn't be surprised to see them a little rusty as they try to work him back into the lineup. And that's obviously been the case. I mean, 2 straight-up losses of double-digit favorites. Keep in mind, they blew a big lead against Sacramento in that game on Friday. And that's one of the reasons I liked them as a play yesterday for my clients. But they were never in that game. In fact, they outscored Toronto by 7 in the fourth quarter and still lost by 8. They were down by 15 going into that fourth quarter of that game. One last thing I'll say John mentioned on his show, and I agree with this, is he's going to play the Lakers pre-flop on the pregame at like +5. Hope they keep it tight in the first quarter. who's looking back to come with Denver in game, maybe around a pick on price and catch a middle or get out of it. And I kind of agree with that because if you look at the Lakers, they played well against Sacramento. Really bad fourth quarter, came out flat then at the beginning last night. Did play well in the fourth quarter last night. So maybe that carries over short term to the beginning of this game. But otherwise, I don't think the Lakers here. I think it's probably a pretty good spot for Denver to make a statement.
It's injuries also continue to be an issue here. Lakers, we know Schroeder was not playing last night against Toronto because of the COVID protocol. He is out again here today. I mean, look at this list. It's getting kind of it's crazy. Also, Rob, kind of crazy. Some of the quotes coming out of the Lakers locker room there. Gasol and others just kind of scratching their head right now. So when you put it all together, chances are over the next 2 weeks, they'll be fine. Hopefully. Do you like them here tonight, though, getting 5 against Denver?
Well, Marc Gasol has been scratching his head for the better part of the last 10 days to 2 weeks because he gets a lot of coaches' decision, no playing time. And ever since they got Andre Drummond in there, Gasol basically has been an unhappy camper. He just doesn't get any minutes on the floor with Drummond there right now. Joe, on this show, more than once since Jamal Murray went down, I've stated my ambition to play against Denver because of the lack of guards, especially the lack of point guards, and somehow, some way, with Campazzo, with PJ Dozier as their starting guards, they just win. And the Clippers brought Kawhi back the other night. It was an important game for the number 3 seed, and Denver goes in there and basically beat them from start to finish. I know the Clippers got off quick in the first quarter, but once the second quarter started, Denver put up a run, and the Clippers never really responded. So Denver's playing extremely well. Reason I bring that point up about playing against Denver or fading them because of their guard situation, with Dennis Schroeder out, I can't worry about that Denver problem anymore. At L.A., they brought Alex Caruso back last game, so we'll get some Alex Caruso here. But I don't know that the Lakers carry a really strong guard advantage like some of the other teams that Denver has played. And, while they haven't been the best since Murray got hurt, I think they're 3-5 against the spread in their last 8 games. They've been hot lately, 3-1 in their last 4, seem to be playing real well. Michael Porter Jr. stepping up. I don't really want to lay 5 here, Joe, with the Denver Nuggets, but I don't want to play against them because they just seem to have everything going right now, and the Lakers are sputtering here to the finish line. In favor of the Lakers, real quick, guys, there's a 3-way tie at 5, 6, and 7 in the Western Conference standings. I don't think LA cares where they get seeded, and I don't think they're going to drop to 8 because they're 3.5 games ahead of Memphis. They just need to work out the kinks here, especially offensively. It hasn't been good. That loss to Toronto was absolutely brutal, with Toronto sitting a multitude of players. I don't know. The way we've seen the NBA go, this is a perfect situation for the Lakers, right? Lakers will bounce back and win tonight, but I just don't know that I can get there. There's no logic in me to support that.
Ski, if we've said it once, we've said it 1,000 times this season. We see it. Overreaction in the marketplace. You got a team that's won 9 out of 10. You got a team that's lost 7 out of its last 10. So naturally, you're going to look at the Lakers tonight, aren't you?
Well, I'll say this. I got kind of annoyed just thinking about it, and I kind of didn't even get to listen to what Rob said. I'm just getting irritated thinking about the game. And I really wanted to hear what Rob said. But I did hear what Steve said about John Ryan. Lakers, they still got, 4 or 5 teams below them in the playoffs, or 3 or 4 teams below them. So still a lot of worse teams than the Lakers out there. For myself in this one, I can't back the Lakers, and it's kind of simple for me. I mean, yes, I know that they've been playing bad lately, but we've seen them without Dennis Schroeder like 5 times this year. They didn't win a game. They lost by an average of 10 points per game. You're not going to have LeBron either now tonight. Anthony Davis, all season long from the beginning, not even just lately. Like to start the year, he wasn't looking like the same Anthony Davis as last year. Maybe he was injured or whatever the case was. And he still doesn't look good. So it's not very many positives for the Lakers right now until, well, we're not going to get Dennis Schroeder for 10 or 14 days. So we'll see when they get some consistency. It will be a Denver play for me, but I would prefer it in the first half. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know they've been pretty solid in the first half lately, and Lakers have not. I also would look towards, and I'll give a shout out to my friend. You can laugh at the name if you want. Some people laugh. His name is Boofer. But over 54.5 in the first quarter. That's a lot of stats and trends to support that, and I think that that's a doable number tonight. That's how I would approach the game if I'm playing.
All right, I like that, man. Over in the first, I'll say this too for the Nuggets: the under 11-1 in their last 12 road games here. So they've kind of ratcheted up a little bit here. We'll see what happens at the Staples Center, and we're also going to take a look now. Going to head down the road to Memphis here, guys, and the New York Knicks taking on the Memphis Grizzlies here in the red-hot New York Knicks, shall I say. The Knicks 10-1 against the number in their last 11 road games. However, the Grizzlies 11-3 in their last 14 at home against the number. So it's an interesting matchup here tonight. It's the second of a back-to-back, Rob Vino, for the Knicks. It's been an interesting week for Memphis as well, but at least they got a day of rest in there. Your thoughts about the Knicks taking care of business here tonight?
Yeah, for Memphis, guys, this is a sense of urgency type of game. Listen, for them, you've got to hang on to the number 8 seed. For anybody watching who doesn't know exactly how this 7 through 10 playoff format works, I mean, basically, to make it real simple, if you finish 7th or 8th, you have 2 chances in that play-in to still make it. But if you finish 9 or 10, you have to win 2 straight games. There's no loss and get another chance. The 7-8 loser will get a second chance to play the 9-10 winner. And so you want to hang on to 7th or 8th. You don't really want to be in 9th or 10th. The team we'll talk about next in the next game, it possibly can come from 10. I think maybe they will come from 10 and get themselves in. But for Memphis, this is urgency right here. Now, the Knicks are 14-1 against the spread in their last 15. So saying to fade the Knicks is, like running out into a cement truck. You're not going to get very far. So, but you mentioned Memphis's numbers, Joe. Although it hasn't been pretty lately, it's been really good for a long time now. 18-7 against the spread. Ski, I know you'll remember this game, buddy, because we talked about it on a show a little while ago. The game where Memphis was in Madison Square Garden. They played April 9th. Memphis had a huge lead into the fourth quarter, got caught by the Knicks at the end. The game went overtime, and the Knicks won that game, and that broke a 10-game Memphis win streak against the spread. They lost a couple after that, went on a 5-game win streak, and like I say, totaled it up there, 18-7 last 25. I think, you know what, Joe? Again, I said that playing against the Knicks at 14-1 against the spread is kind of crazy, but I think I would here. I really do. I think Memphis will be energetic. Not that the Knicks won't. I mean, I'm just giving a quick look here to Knick minutes last night. RJ Barrett plays 40. He's really the only guy that was extended really hard. It's difficult to say play against the Knicks right now, but I just think situationally this lines up for Memphis to put their best foot forward. Generally speaking, I don't like to talk about revenge in NBA basketball, but I think if there's a game Memphis remembers, it's this one that they let get away in the Garden. So maybe I take a shot here with the Memphis Grizzlies minus the small price.
A lot of 3.5s in the marketplace with this one, Ski. The total also got steamed up, 217.5. I'm seeing 221.5 now in a number of spots. The Knicks have been impressive on the road. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves here, but do you like them? Do you trust them in this spot? And kind of a must-have game for Memphis.
Well, Rob, I do remember that. And then we got the famous Twitter fingers from John Morant right after the game. So I think that they'll remember that game as well. But for me, I look at the Knicks a couple things. Well, with the Grizzlies, they're going to score all their points in the paint. That's how they beat every single team. The Knicks are not a team that allows a lot of points in the paint. I think they're number 4. And so coming off a game where they did allow a good amount of points in the paint, I think that they step up defensively. Like the Knicks are known as a defensive team. And I just think that the Knicks are kind of being, disrespected, being an underdog still. This is more like a pick'em type game, in my opinion. So getting plus money, I would have to look towards the Knicks. There's one more thing that I did want to say, though. If you're going to mention, I think everybody's looking at the play-in seed just because I don't think it matters 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, I think you can make that case for Portland, they can be in front of the Lakers. You can make that case for all of these teams throughout the day. So I think everybody's looking at it.
Yeah, you got a bottom line. You're going to have to win some games regardless here in order to be able to continue. It's going to be a hell of a run, though, Steve. We got 2 weeks left here in the New York Knicks. I don't know. Win total, over, under. I know you were a big proponent of the Knicks. I'm getting ready to fade them. Is this when you start to fade the Knicks now tonight?
Yeah, well, I think it was 22.5 for the season. They're now 36-28. They got their 23rd win in the middle of March, Joe, over a month and a half ago now.
Crazy.
So, yeah, I've always said the one great thing about over bets in any sport is it's the only bet that you can win with like half the game to go still. You just have to hope they play the allotted 50 minutes in football, or that Ski doesn't go over to a Boyd Stadium and turn the power off in the UNLV game in the fourth quarter like happened that one year. It's the only way you lose. Or in baseball, rain, of course, you have to worry about. But, yeah, that's what's great about overs. And now the question, because if they shut the season down and the Knicks only play 60 games, would they still honor that win? Because it doesn't go the full 70 out of 72. So I guess the Knicks have to play a few more games for that to catch, but they hit it pretty easy. I've also said on the show several times that I'm not going to fade them until they start to – I did think they would start to falter. I didn't put any money on that, so it didn't hurt me that they haven't. In fact, the only time I've been wrong with them was on Wager Talk Today a few episodes ago last week. Remember I talked about the Phoenix-New York game? Mm-hmm. That's the only damn game the Knicks have lost in like a 3-week span. So I'm not good news playing on or against them for them on TV shows. They did bounce back with wins over Chicago and Houston. I mean, impressive double-digit wins. So I'm not ready to lay points against this Knicks team, that's for sure. I would have probably leaned towards the over, but Ski brought up a great point about the interior scoring. That is a concern. Now, of course, that was not a concern when these teams played earlier in April. 262 points scored in that game. 3-point shooting was just lights out. The teams combined to go 28 for 62 from 3-point range in that game. 133, 129, went over the 216.5 rather easily. Now it's 220.5, so obviously a little bit of an adjustment. Some of the sharp books there that I look at, though, are at 221. So we talked about the Hawks having some sharp money. Over in this game also has some sharp money from what I've seen this evening.
Yeah, it's got to look at the first half as well. Again, Ski, a lot. It's interesting. The market, not a lot of love for the Knicks yet. We'll see if that turns itself around. But we got to take a look. One more game here on the board, guys, and it centers around our overtime game. And that, of course, I'll give you 2 guesses here. One of them's got to be the Wizards, right? And the other one's got to be Indiana. Good Lord, look at this number, 246. That's pretty much what we saw it open at. I even think it hopped up to 247 at one point here today. It is hovering around that 240, let's see, 246 now, pretty much. Even a 245.5 that is floating around. Any which way you cut it, we're expecting points, or at least the market is expecting points here, Ski, in this matchup. Can't say I blame them, given what we've seen from these two teams, but again, 246 points, man. Is there any way you'd look at an under in this one?
Man, every time we come on here, every day when I see the Pacers, I've been saying just go over. And it seems like the market finally has done some catching up, because if, I don't know, maybe you guys can correct me, but it seems like the highest total that we've seen.
Yep.
I don't think we've had one over 246, so just off that alone, I guess I always say don't be scared of the high totals, but this time I'm a little bit scared. I'll lean under.
Yeah. I'm a little bit scared too, because they've not actually, Indiana's not crashing the boards anymore. They're getting back on defense, Steve. So second chance points, I'm a little worried about what we're going to get with this number. It seems like the market is now overreacted, and here we are, 246 points. Any way you look at the under in this?
See what Joe did there, overreacting to the overtime segment for the overplay. I like it. By the way, the Brooklyn-Milwaukee game closed 243 yesterday. Ski, it was 245 at some points during the day, so it got close to this total, but didn't quite hit the 246. I would agree that's the highest I can remember this season. One time, who I did a segment with earlier, had a great numbers. I wanted to mention it. Totals 235 and higher this year, 65% to the over, he told me. 215 or less is about over 60% to the under. We've talked about it a lot on this show and other shows. High totals go over, low totals stay under. We've seen baseball 6.5 stay under more times than not this year. And by the way, the median average score is about 223 or so, a little bit less this year. So when it's about 10 points higher, it goes over, 10 points lower, it stays under. This is obviously a very high total, but over 65% of these games have gone over this year. We talk a lot on the overtime segment here on the show every day with these high totals. It's the only way to play it. Now, the other thing I'll say, Joe, as you know, is that you and I said a lot has to go right for a total to go over 246. But more times than not this year, 65% of the time, according to John Ryan, they have gone over 235 or higher. So it's the only way I would play this. I would not even play the under with Rob Vino's money on this game. And teams are healthy. They got their players there. I think the over is the only way to play it, and it makes some sense in this situation as well.
All right, well, I'll throw one on top of John Ryan's number there. How about 240 or higher? 15 and 11 this season here, guys. 57.7% to the over, Rob Vino, if it's 240 points or higher. So naturally, we're going to look over, right?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's like that bridge that's ready to go, and you want to be the car that gets ahead of that because if you're late, you're going in the drink. Yeah, 246, it just keeps creeping higher and higher and higher. Listen, this Indiana over thing is no recent fad. It's been going on for a month almost now. When they decided philosophically that they were going to play like a college team with these long outlet passes. You're seeing it again. We first saw it from Charlotte prior to LaMelo Ball's injury. And now we're seeing it again from Charlotte, and we'll see it the rest of the way from Charlotte, and we're seeing it from Memphis. These three teams in particular have decided we're going to push, we're going to push, we're going to push. The Wizards always push. They're the number one tempo team for the entire season. Right now, I think 107 per 100 possessions. These two teams played once before, about 4.5 weeks ago. The game hit 256. But I'll say this, the Washington Wizards, in fact, let's just start with Indiana and their 4 consecutive overs, right? They're 4-0 over their last 4 games. Those games, Joe, only one of them gets over 246. 243, 245, 243, they're all high scoring. They all lose tonight. The 247 was because Oklahoma City decided to set, franchise records in how futility on the defensive side. 152-97 was the final there. I would, it's very, very hard to say under, but I think that Washington is a team at this point in time that's really looking, and these two are battling kind of. I think they're close in the playoffs, but I think Washington in recent games is playing a little bit more defensive nature than they have in the past. And that's not saying a lot. I'm not saying they're knocking 10 points off the opponent's final score or anything. Just enough, a couple baskets here or there. And that's all it takes to stay under in a game like this. I think Indiana first half overs have been pretty profitable as of late. Maybe you look at the first half, but now those things are creeping into the mid 120s, which is difficult as well. I would say in this one, I'd look under. I just think that the odds maker is really getting to the point where you have to look the other way.
Yeah, it just feels like a monster, and that's what it opened up with at 246. Go ahead, Ski. What do you got, man?
So totals of 235 or higher, 52, 26, and 2, 66.7%. Totals of 244 or higher, 3 and 2 to the under.
Wow. Okay, so there is a line in the sand, and it's 244.
That's what I'm saying.
That's crazy. It's just nuts. And it's interesting, too, that the spread is only 4 in this game. So a close game, we might overtime might even come to play. Like it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Low spread, high total. 244 is the number, guys. That's where we're going to draw it. That's when the unders start to creep in. I don't know. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts. What isn't crazy, though, however, is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com, which means right now best bets are $9. Some might call that crazy, but that's right. You can head over to Ski's page. You can head over to Steve Merrill's page, Rob Vino's page right now. Get their best bets locked and loaded here tonight for just $9. Love $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com. We are going to head to our best bets. It's time for the buzzer beaters here, guys. And this, of course, you guys know, 60 seconds on the clock. It's very simple. They can do whatever they want with that 60 seconds, provided they give us a best bet. All right, Ski, you are driving point here, man. No Schroeder tonight for the Lakers. They got Ski instead in the starting lineup. So come on, man. 60 seconds, brother. Where you going here tonight?
Oh man. Okay. So I have not made a play in NBA, like I said earlier on the show. But the way that I'm looking so far today, um, as long as the rosters remain as they are, and Utah does not have a point guard, or they're still missing Conley and Mitchell, I don't want to play on Utah. They're a team that, I mean, I think that affects the offense tremendously. We've seen their game start to go under, and they're not covering. So I don't want any parts until they get those guys back. Then you look on the other side, you have a San Antonio team who's been, they've covered what, 5 in a row. So I like the way that they've been playing. They're 13-5 as a road dog, 7-5 against the spread on the second of a back-to-back. So I'm not nervous that they don't have rest. I just think the days of Utah really just blowing people out the gym, or I think they may be a little bit gone for now. So I like the Spurs, who've been playing good lately. Spurs plus 7.5 for me.
I love that, Ski, and I got one better for you. First of all, half of the Spurs that's on a back-to-back, half of them didn't play yesterday, so they're rested. And the Spurs, 21-8-1 against the number on the road. So love that play there. All right, Steve. Come on, Merrill. Let's go. You're in the middle. You get 60 seconds. Props and all. Talk to us. Where are you going here tonight?
Yeah, once again, like you said, $9 Monday, WagerTalk.com. It's crazy, but it wasn't crazy enough for me and Rob Vino. I checked with him first. I run everything by Rob before I do anything insane. And he said $4.50 is even crazier than $9 Monday. So I did a 2-for-1 special, baseball and basketball best bet. It's a 2-for-1 for $9 at WagerTalk.com, and a free MLB play is posted on my page as well. So if $4.50 Monday is not crazy enough, $0 Monday with the free play on my page at WagerTalk.com. And with the 30 seconds remaining, we're going to start our dribble here. We're going to take it to the hoop with the game we did not talk about. How this game did not make the top 4 list is a mystery to me. Orlando at Detroit, 23-53 Magic versus 19-45 Pistons. Hell no, I'm not laying 2.5 points with a favorite that's 19-45 that just got blown out in 2 games. Only covered 1 of their last 5, and that's Detroit I'm referencing. Magic, meanwhile, 3-1 against the spread, 2-1 straight up their last 3. Playing better basketball, getting points. Orlando Magic +2 with Rob Vino's money.
Well done. We were so close to going to talk about that game, but then Ski said absolutely
but the other 9
no.
games didn't get canceled.
He was not going to let it happen. You want to talk about a game that's like watching paint dry? Tune into that one tonight. Rob Vino, come on, my man. You are hitting clean up here. 60 seconds on the clock. Where are you heading tonight?
Well, let me start with something I forgot a couple of games ago, and that was that game where Steve brought in John Ryan's 2 cents to everything. And I would say that he's probably not going to be allowed in the house to play Ski's grand piano anymore. That's the end of that for him. That was his dream, and that ain't happening anymore. I'm going to take Memphis and the Knicks over, Joe. I didn't talk about the total purposely the first time around. Listen, Memphis, last 10 games, they've allowed 112 or more in 9 of those 10. The Knicks can get their points. If you look at the Knicks, in 11 of their last 13, they've scored 110. So I put the Knicks in between 110 and 115 in this game. And knowing the way Memphis is going to push, knowing the way the previous game went, knowing that Jaren Jackson Jr. wasn't in the lineup back then, I can see Memphis matching those points at 221. We need 112 or we need 111 aside. I think we get it from both of these. I'm going to take over 221 in the Knicks-Memphis game as a best bet.
It's like butter, man. Just smooth is what we got there. Also, first half over, guys, 112.5 in that Memphis, New York. That is what the total is in just the first half. All right. It is time. I know it. It's coming. And we are looking at a John Ryan angle of the day. And here we go, guys. Let's see what he's got here for us today. We are going to look to bet the over with a road team playing on back-to-back nights, and if the total is between 210 and 219.5. And if that road team is coming off a road win where they scored at least a league average of 111 points, and the road team has won at least 60% of their games, and the host has a losing record on the season, then 26-12 over, 68% over the last 10 NBA seasons, which means we are looking at the Sixers and the Bulls to go over the total here tonight. Vucevic, I believe, still questionable. Zach LaVine, we know, is out. I'm not sure if the 76ers added anybody, but Philadelphia and Chicago looking at the over, according to John Ryan, and of course, his angle of the day. And thank you, John Ryan. Guys, catch him at sportsmemo.com. Let's take a look at our friends from the Gold Sheet. Where are they going here tonight? Well, they're going, the same way our contrarian is going here. Atlanta Hawks laying the 2.5 at home, taking on the Portland Trailblazers. Also a game that we broke down as part of our contrarian game of the day. We like Atlanta to take care of business as the Portland Trailblazers continue to get a ton of public support. And to recap one more time, guys, best bets around the horn here. Look at Ski going Spurs, 7.5. Love that play here. Merrill somehow or another managed to even handicap the Detroit Magic game. I have no idea how he even found that in any way, shape, or form, but +2 there. Rob Vino, I'm with him there too. Knicks, Grizzlies over 221 in that game. And of course, the Hawks 2.5, the contrarian 2.5, but the over in the Chicago-Philadelphia game for our angle of the day. And like you heard it, it is $4.50 Monday, or no dollar and no cent Monday if you're looking at Steve's page, because apparently he's just throwing it up there for you guys to consume. But Ski, if you get something going, it's going to be up there. Rob Vino, also best bets, $9, guys. $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All you have to do is just type in WagerTalk.com, go to their pages, take advantage of it. We love $9 Monday. Visit Ski, visit Steve, visit Rob. Let's make it a profitable Monday, guys. Hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner. Make sure you subscribe to us here on our YouTube page. But more importantly, come back and join us again tomorrow as we continue. It is the finish line, the end of the NBA season. 2 weeks away. We got plenty of ways to make some money between now and then. So best of luck with your plays here tonight, guys. Come back and join us again tomorrow. Good luck. We'll see you then.